Wow. I didn't think we'd be back so soon, guys. Let's recap what's going on in this current crisis. According to entertainment critic Maureen Ryan from Variety, 19 sources have come forward with accounts of sexual harassment from executive producer Andrew Kreisberg. This is the man who ran shows like Arrow, Supergirl, Flash, DC, Legends of Tomorrow. The victims only agreed to their stories anonymously out of fear of retaliation by the CW, which is actually Warner Brothers. Today's podcast is dedicated to the brave people, some who put their jobs on the line because they had reached their tipping point.
Let me just recap us.
Adair.
What about Dad?
Okay. All right.
What a
Jen.
What about Dad?
Podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Jen and Adair, and today we are going to be covering this story that broke this week about Andrew Kreisberg. But before we do that, I'd like to talk a little bit about Maureen Ryan, who wrote the article, who was the person who investigated and broke the story. She also has another article about her own personal struggle with having been harassed by a sexual predator. And that was really what motivated her to go out and write this article that was just released. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in the links. But first, we must deal with the scumbag at hand.
Absolutely.
Last night, I went to bed there. I was thinking about how best to do this, like there are so many ways you can deal with a scumbag, a la Carrie Fisher. Get a dead fish, put it in a bag, leave it on a car, let it dry out. So what is our brand of vindictive scumbag retribution? And, I went to bed, and Einstein, he often went to bed with a question and woke up with a solution. So without further ado, here it is.
The roast of Andrew Kreisberg.
I appreciate that. That's ridiculous.
This time we will not be aiming our judgment at the Supergirl show itself, but rather the showrunner, aka master of the DC Universe, Andrew Kreisberg. There's no doubt that the CW has an executive problem. I'm looking at you, Pedowitz, Rothenberg, Berlanti. But for the sake of time, it's all about Kreisberg today.
Yeah, that guy's an asshole.
Andrew Kreisberger, let's set the record straight. Nobody wants your pasty, swarmy, lukewarm, unhealthy, clammy, ill-begotten, oddly formed, not fully formed, unkosher with a squirt of dill in the chonies man meats.
Ew. Guys, the thing is, I know Jen's a little riled up, and I totally get it. What she meant to say, let me reiterate. Nobody wants his unseasoned chicken that's from his Becky at home. Nobody wants his midlife crisis, hair plug using, lack of self-esteem, thin skin, puberty wasn't very kind to me, sexual harassing meats. Ultimately, ain't nobody got time for all that. You know what I'm saying?
No, Kreisberg, I'm just going to say it. Nobody wants to be touched by you. Nobody wants to be kissed by you.
Bull.
Your employees are afraid of you. Not because you're good at your job, but because you're a big fucking creep.
Ugh. Just like...
You look like an albino
Shame.
Frankenstein. You look like a giant white cat poop, 10 days old.
Ooh, dear.
You look like you read slow, sir. You look like your go-to stress food is a fucking jar of mayonnaise and some soggy bottom bread.
I think you're onto something, Jen. I think you're onto something because he does have that real gaunt, fourth human from the right on the evolution scale type look. Very Frankenstein.
He's
but
the missing link.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think I want to call him Frankentaint. I feel like that might...
I kind of want to call him Frankentwat.
Oh,
What?
okay. No, we could do a little
Frankentaint,
twat-taint.
Frankentwat.
I totally get it. Frankentwat, Frankentaint. Because, the reason I like to call him Frankentaint, because he's not really a pussy, and he's not fully an asshole. He's just, right in that gray area between just sadness. So
He's
anyways,
in the crack.
He's right in
the
a mess.
hairy crack
So I
line.
think I want to call him, the Frankentate. He looks like he's one of those rejects from the show Wipeout. You know, the one who's like, "I'ma make it," and then they get like punched into.
No. He's the splat.
Yeah, he's the
splat
splat.
after you wipe out.
Let me be honest. He looks like he loves soggy bread. You know what I'm saying? He really does.
He
It's
looks
gross.
like he looks like a giant lurch. Like, I want to call him Lurch Burger. That's the other name that comes to mind.
Well, I mean, okay, so like I kind of thought about this when you were saying all the things, and I was like, how do I feel that what does he represent? You know, I feel like he looks like the guy who has a gold store account on like ebonypeggingme.com, or like he looks like a marshmallow. Oh no, you know what? He looks like a high school janitor. You know, the one who always offers you like a warm piece of candy from his front pocket. Yeah, that guy. The one that that's who he reminds me of. See, I
feel like if he didn't work at CW, he'd own a van down by the river.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he looks just, what's the word? Like, underwhelming. He just does not present himself. You know who he reminds me of? He looks like Jared from Subway's brother. You know,
Shame.
the handsy one.
Shame.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He actually looks like he smells like wet potatoes. That's like, you know, when you soak the potatoes for that.
And you peel it back, the peeled back part.
God,
Yeah,
I feel like if people were near him, he'd smell like Ralph Lauren and entitlement. Like somebody paid for his college tuition. You know what I'm
I feel
saying?
like if you like shook his hand, your hand would come back wet and clammy. I feel like he like spreads clamminess everywhere he goes.
I feel like he just spreads the clams everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Just like
I feel
this
like
man.
when you look at him, there's something fundamentally off about him, and perhaps he's aware of this, and perhaps this. Well, it's
like-
not perhaps. He is truly taking it out on other people.
I mean, I am just disgusted at how unhuman he is. I mean, what is up with Hollywood right now? I mean, goodness, as an actor, I'm like,
Shame.
this is not
Shame.
encouraging at all.
Shame.
You know, just because you're creative doesn't mean you can get handsy and weird and just like, what a fucking dick. Like, let me just be blunt. He's a dick. Tiny dick.
and not
but,
enough
like,
people are saying this to him on a daily basis.
They should be
This
like,
is the
hey man,
problem.
you're a dick. Like, good morning.
He's like,
good morning.
he's been left in the wild too long.
Like, I'm sorry. Who, what other man was like, I know he gets a little handsy, but I'm not going to say much. No, fucking tell that your friend that he's hands. Stop doing that. Like, get a fleshlight. Don't be that guy who's like going out to like other people. Like, sit at home with your grossness. Like, be with yourself. How about that? Like, ugh. Anyway.
Home didn't even want him with his grossness.
Like, the
this
fact
is why he's
that,
taking
like-
it out on society.
It's just, guys. By the way, if you have any good burns for Mr. Frankenpaint, please send them at the bottom of the comments, you know. And yeah, let's just have like kind of a riff off on what you feel when you see the piercing beady eyes of.
When you see his face, other than wanting to punch it, what do you feel?
It's
We
true.
want to know these things.
He looks like an eraser. Like, that's just. Like, he just looks like somebody can smudge his face and like remove ink. I don't know why. Just
He looks like all the bird poop landed on him. That's what he looks like. All of it. There's like swirled and then it like landed.
It's true. It's true. You know,
He's
when
a
you see
statue.
guys, like, especially in New York, you see, like, if somebody steps in poop on accident, the face that they make when they step on poop, because there's no grass out here, so they can't really quickly wipe it off their shoe. That's kind of
No.
what he looks like.
Can't avoid that face.
You can't avoid it. It's true.
You know, I'm so disgusted. I like this is not okay.
What?
This makes me so angry. You don't understand. We're joking, but
Shame.
we're like, this is a rage fire. It's burning. It's burning deep. You know, it started with like
It's burning just like his chlamydia. Like, it's just a fire that is unleashed. You know what I'm saying?
it's been unleashed. And you know what? We're here for you. We are here to direct it at something.
You know, okay, so to get a little, well, not a little serious, because this is a dead serious topic, and it's just, it bothers us because
It
we're
bothers us
tired.
because we're
just tired.
women who have we work in and we want to work in this industry. Like, we are doing work within it. We have worked in it, and it just makes me so mad because this person who's so unqualified, like as a human being to be in a position of power, is in power, and he's abusing it. You know, he's like the worst person to be doing what he's doing, and there are so many great people who could be doing it. You know, for instance, like, you know, just anybody else.
Anybody else. But we have that right
asshole.
now going on in this country where, you know, we're allowing people who shouldn't do stuff. So, like, according to sources who either witnessed this behavior or were subject to it, you know, Frankentaint is accused of frequently touching people without their permission, asking for massages from uncomfortable female staff members, and kissing women without asking. Like, who the fuck does that? Anyways, I digress. Also, it's just like, I mean, almost every source cites a constant stream of sexualized comments about women's appearance, their clothes, and their perceived desirability. I mean, come on, guys. Many women say that they found the work environment created by douche and cunt, or whatever you want to call him, to be so hostile and toxic that they leave a room when he enters it. I mean, Frankentaint literally acts like he has no part of it. He's in denial that he gave any staffers unwanted attention. Like, what a fucking dick.
So we're just to be clarified, we're pulling a few clips from the article. The article is online. It's at Variety by Maureen Ryan, and
We're
she's
gonna
a
have it in
fabulous
the
writer.
link, so definitely.
But we're pulling
check
it.
it
And we
out.
just kind of want to like analyze this. We want to look at this. We want to understand this profile of a predator. We want to know you, Kreisberg, because we're coming. But like honestly, what kind of you got to know you're creepy, right? I mean, like, he is trying to kiss women, and when the women, like, turn their cheeks or they try to uncomfortably shrink away, he's still, like, honing in on the target. And I feel like for him, I feel like this is a case where he's aware of himself, and he's doing it anyways. He didn't give a fuck. It's just whatever he wants, you know? And, you know, he's just kind of really like that he's like the fart in the room, you know? Everybody knows he did it, and he's stinky, and nobody wants to be near it.
Like,
And as they try to pull away, the fart like
lingers, and it's just like
lingers. He's a lingering fart.
he really is. He's the human version of a lingering fart. Yeah, no.
And this is what he has to say for himself. So I will be the Kreisberg for a second. I have proudly mentored both male and female colleagues for many years, but never in what I believe to be unwanted way, and certainly never in a sexual way. Ooh, little old me?
But like, what the difference is, but sources have painted a completely different picture. The quote-unquote workplace feels unsafe, one woman says, and a sentiment echoed by others, said another, he scares people. What? Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
You have grown-ass people going, he scares me. And
He scares me. I can't be in a
I
room
feel
by
unsafe
myself
in
with
my
him.
workplace. Guys, what is happening? And I mean, like, everybody, why can't we go to work comfortably? You know, according to many interviewed by Variety, Dushin, problematic behavior practically around women got worse once he had a great deal of authority and executive producer on was executive producer on several shows. So it only got worse with more power. Why in the fuck, CW, Warner Brothers, were you giving a man who you absolutely knew was being an asshole more power to make you money? So you're going to sell out your women employees. You're going to pretty much steamroll over and screw over the other people who are actually making you money. Because he's not doing it. Kate McGrath, Melissa Benoist, Kyler Lee, you know,
Florima.
Floriana, you know, people on freaking Legends, everybody on Flash, all those women, they're the ones making you money. Yes, the titles, blah, blah, blah. But really, especially Supergirl, we're there for the females. And so the fact that the company's not supporting them, and they're going to give this man more when he deserves much less.
This company gave a sexual predator a show about feminism. What the fuck, man?
Like, okay, so one of these writers said the power went to his head. No shit, says a male writer. It became clear to me that it would be very dangerous career-wise for me to confront him about his behavior. Guys, okay, as an actor, I 100% understand getting to a place where you can have stability, where you can feel like hey, I'm a working actor, or I'm working in the industry, I'm doing my due diligence. But all this shit keeps happening because people are too afraid to sacrifice. And when I say that, those men who are like, I was afraid to confront them because I was afraid to lose my job. Now that person's lost their integrity because they rather have their money or than stand up for belief, than stand up and fight for the other people. Because guess what would have probably happened? This would have come out sooner, maybe. There could have been more people less, impacted or damaged. And maybe that voice of a man, grown man, going, this isn't right, we need to do something, fighting for the rights of everybody else, would have been actually praised and not mishandled. The fact that people nowadays, not just on the CW, not just on TV, where our country is going, you are not allowed to tell when someone's doing something bad. Tattletelling is not a thing unless, when it's putting people in danger. That's not a thing. That's not tattletelling. That's freaking keeping people safe. So the fact that we become a society that's too afraid to sacrifice what we might have, a dollar, monetary substance, for the, pretty much downfall of our own, kind of humanity, that's terrible. Like, you guys don't understand how bad that is. Like, that's really bad.
you're talking about you're talking about the overall, especially this year, there has been, we're kind of like we're in a battle for our values, and this person was so scared of losing their job and confronting this higher up about his behavior that they just remained silent, and the situation became more toxic. And it became toxic for not necessarily this person, but for the women,
for everybody else.
People.
The thing is,
everybody else.
They say, when it comes to the TSA, the NSA, to everybody, you see something, you say something, because if you say nothing and a bomb goes off, we all get injured. So this is the exact same equivalent. A lot of people kept silent. Right now we have a bunch of sexual harassment going on and sexual predators going on in Hollywood, and people are now going to record, well, I stayed silent because I was afraid to lose my job. I mean,
you should. It's not that. I mean, it's a very difficult situation to be in. I can entirely understand
absolutely.
That person who was afraid to come forward, but it's like not just that person. It's like everybody feeling this way. It's 19 people, and so it really took this article and this writer being like, come on board. You can give me your source, but be anonymous, and I will spread your story. So it's just like, it's really having avenues in which lines of communication can productively be reached, that these people were able to come forward after a really, really long time. But one of the things that really upset me about this article was that Kreisberg, in every instance, denies it. So, younger women were constantly belittled and subjugated to negative comments, says a writer who has worked with Kreisberg. A high-level producer at the CW show says that a young woman who worked in 2 successive lower-level jobs was the object of his affection, his obsessive crush, and left due to unwanted attention. An account confirmed by more than a dozen of other sources. This former employee did not respond to multiple requests for comment for this story. Then Kreisberg says that he devoted attention to young staffers as a mentor, yes, to both men and women. In a sexual way, no. So he continues to deny his behavior. And that, to me, is just like mind-boggling when you have 19 people saying that, yeah, he did it. And this one person who's so deluded that they cannot even acknowledge what they are doing to other people.
What's even worse is that, like, apparently 2 women said that he talked about how he hired staffers based on their looks. And one even quoted him saying, you should have seen the other dog we interviewed for this position. That's who's running Supergirl, guys.
This one male staffer says that Kreisberger called him into his office to view footage of a woman who was coming in later that day to audition. In the video, the woman was topless. My mind went blank. I didn't know what to say. Says the writer who notes that Kreisberg was grinning. But my internal reaction was, why would you show me this? It's wildly inappropriate. I could not get out of there fast enough. So not only is he doing this, but he's impressing it upon the male
inflicting
staff.
He's like,
You
come
know?
on. It's that whole...
And then this is his rebuttal, real quick. Kreisberg says that in doing research on the internet about a prospective actress, we found that she had a role in a premium cable network show. It was not an X-rated show. We clicked the video and she was topless. Oh, he just found that? Oh my god. This guy is so full of shit. You cut him and he bleeds a fucking pile of shit. I'm sorry, I'm so angry.
No, and you guys, and right now, the reason why we're kind of going back and forth, we want you to really understand the scope of how many people, how many stories have been out about this guy, because it's like it's too much. It's too many stories of men and women being forcibly made to endure his bullshit and his disgusting habits.
The only person who should endure this is his therapist, you know, like,
legit.
That's it.
Like, that's legitimately, that's the case. So, like, a young man from the Arrowverse staffer recalls that he one day stopped by to see a female colleague and leaned down on her desk as he was talking to her. Without the man's knowledge, douche and cunt came in, placed his hand on the man's posterior and began pretending to have sex with him, saying something like, well, if you're offering, Kreisenberg denies this even occurred. Who makes...
Okay, can you imagine?
Who
You're
makes
just
that
like
up,
at
though?
work.
Shame.
No, you're at work and your boss
Shame.
comes up behind you, starts to like mime having sex with you in front of all your coworkers, you know? And he's laughing and he's making fun of you. What the fuck do you do in that situation? That is like that is such an abuse of power, and I'm so disgusted by this piece of shit.
And the fact that he is an equal opportunist because he was doing this to men and women. Like, that, which, I mean, not saying that, like, if a man just does it to a woman, that there's a certain psychological path, which there is, but, like, to just not care who they're doing that to is wild.
I think that when I read that, I was like, this is not about just the women. I think he thinks of women as below men.
Yeah.
I think he's a misogynist completely. He thinks of us as like animals.
Obviously.
But I think he thinks of I don't think that was I think that was an act of power, you know, like when you put another man like in that position and you just like fuck him literally, it's just reasserting your power. So he feels so tiny inside that he has to go and do disgusting things to other people who are already in a lower position than him. People making about $14 an hour, which like really burns me, compared to his salary. This man does not deserve his job. He's only suspended right now, but he needs to be 100% fired.
Now check this out. Like, this is the kind of shit, guys, that boils my britches 100%. Another woman says that she was asked in the presence of another woman to lie on his office floor while he assumed a push-up position stance over her. And then he asked her to pretend to choke him.
Oh my god.
Like, what kind of BDS, like, bullshit? I mean, hey, choking, down for it. Hey, push-ups.
Not for the workplace.
Not for the workplace. Love a good push-up. But, like, not for my boss who I don't feel comfortable with. And then
in a room?
To be like, oh, choke me. What the? He said it was for research, according to this employee. It didn't feel like I had any right to say, that is weird. You guys, just for those listening, you have the right to say, that's weird. Always. You always have the right to say, that's weird. You know?
This is the one where I think it really just, like, we show how much of a loose cannon he is.
Shit.
This woman reclaims... Oh, my God. I'm sorry. Kreisberger, he mimed having sex with a copy machine once when she and another woman were in a room, which is, like, really weird. She quit over this behavior and the atmosphere it created. So it's like, it's not just people, it's inanimate objects, it's the plants, it's the couches, it's the fucking copy machine.
Like,
yeah.
Like, how is this a normal thing? Like, it is, quote, it is not uncommon in writers' rooms that we act out what we want production to film, Kreisenberg says.
That's what he said about the coffee machine.
Yeah, there is never a sexual intent or overtones.
So is like Supergirl gonna bang the coffee machine? Oh my
Like,
god, what the fuck?
In what scenario do you need to bang a copy machine to prove
Clearly
anything?
in his workday. Clearly
exactly, to
within
prove-
the span of his workday.
To prove anything to a TV show? Like, I'm...
Let me tell you.
sorry,
I
what?
work with a beautiful group of writers who are all working on their own pilots. And when we get in a room, the only thing we're passing or acting out is a bottle of Pinot Grigio. That is it.
No one's banging
We do not
copiers
get
at
up.
your,
No, we do not get up and act out our scenes. That shit does not happen in real life. This is in crazy Kreisberg world.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that one just shows me that he has no self-control. Why do you need to do that in front of women? Why do you need to do that to a copy machine?
Why does
Why
he
do you
need
need
to
to
do
do that
that?
at work?
Just
Why
in
do you need to do
general.
that in your workday? Why do you need to do that at work? It's just, I am so like, wow.
No me gusta.
Wow. No me
No
gusta. You
me gusta.
fuckface. Alright. Kreisberg and another high-level male producer at one point looked at photos of a naked woman in the presence of two women, one of whom spoke to Variety. Kreisberg says the photo incident did not happen, but at this point, 19 people are saying that, yeah, all this shit happened.
And
so I
in
think
detail.
the
They're not
19
just, like,
people-
vague about it.
he humped a copy machine
who makes that up?
backward to forward. He gyrated. He was wearing khaki. They were Dockers. He had Dockers on. There was a belt. You know, like, we got the details. We
makes
get it.
that kind of
I got a
bullshit up?
full picture. I do not know this person, but I can imagine the gesture, and it's disturbing. Okay, women say that they avoided having to sit on a couch next to him. Multiple women called that place the hot seat because Kreisberg would keep getting closer and closer to the woman next to him, no matter how many times she moved away. Wow.
Disgusting.
That's like just such a perv, you know? Like, oh my god. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That's just, yeah.
You found a commenter who had said something about the whole thing, kind of just like beautifully wrapped it up.
I really wow, put it all together. According to Z, did you want to?
No, you.
All right. According to Z in the comment section, Z was not having it with any of this Kreisberg stuff. Z's cut with a fine knife right through the bullshit. Z says, notice how he selectively admits to accounts he can make in a weak attempt at twisting into something innocuous. Such a wicked and manipulative tactic. By admitting to some things but never owning up to any wrongdoings, he attempts to project a narrative of just a misunderstanding. And guess what, buddy? We ain't buying it. CW, hurry up and fire this sick fucking pervert. I actually added all that other part in. Pick your choice insult. Oh, that was the end of the comment. I picked my choice insult. Yeah, so I think that's really true. I think in every instance you see him trying to pass off his own behavior as just a misunderstanding. And this makes me so mad.
It's
because
terrible.
It makes me so mad because there are a lot of men in power who think that they can just use this locker room, oh, boys will be boys kind of language to explain away being a sexual predator, and you just cannot, not in this day and age. And Kreisberger, you salty fucking piece of poopiness. I'm so mad.
So we have a kind of a statement that I wanted to read from Melissa Benoist, who is Supergirl, and I thought it was important, and I'm glad she did say something, and that she spoke up because we kind of need that face of super feminine power at the moment. She says, I am a woman who leads a show that supports equality and feminism, empowerment, and fighting for what is right. I have always tried to conduct myself this way personally as well. Sadly, the show and my career are part of an industry that doesn't always mirror these sentiments. This is heartbreaking, and at times makes me feel helpless. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way, but I'm an optimist. I believe lasting change is possible, and when people are mistreated, they should have a safe forum to speak their truth and always be heard. And when people commit crimes or harass others, they should always be held accountable, no matter what the industry they work in or how much power they wield. I've spoken up about it in the past, publicly and not so publicly, and I'll always continue to do so. All of us should, without fear or shame. We all need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. So this week, I'll head back to work on Supergirl, even more committed to being a part of changing the norm by listening when people speak up and refusing to accept an environment that is anything less than a safe, respectable, and collaborative space. Melissa.
I feel like really that is so sad, but also I feel like I feel really relieved that she said something. And when I think of Kreisberg, I think about, like, he's kind of like this Trojan horse. You know, he has this feminist show, but it's being run by all this misogynist behavior, the sexist, inappropriate behavior, the show. And really, it starts at the top and trickles down into all the elements of a show. And the audience knew something was wrong. This year, when the show made a switch from the CBS to CW, we could sense something was inherently wrong with Supergirl. Now we know what is wrong with Supergirl. It really does start with the executive producer. Yeah. It does. And it is on us to reject that and be like, that's not good enough. And this has truly been the year of the woman. We know, it was the year of the woman. It started off with the Women's March. We got Wonder Woman. We got Sally Yates. We got Rose McGowan, and we have Supergirl. But to quote Supergirl, I hope our audience knows that you shouldn't look outward, you should look inward. You should be your own hero. And if you see something, you say something. And if you don't like what you're seeing, and if you don't want this man to be in power, then you should say something. So me and Adair, we're saying something because we're gonna do that. We're gonna live by that mantra.
Yeah,
Anything
no, absolutely.
Supergirl, we will be our own hero.
Exactly. So we just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention, let you know what's really going on, because as much as we love these shows, and as much as we find escapism in just the silliness of aliens in space, at the heart of TV and entertainment, there are really strong core values, you know, that we all can attach to. And we all have to really stand up right now and say, you know what? Even though it's TV, these are people's jobs, livelihoods, talents, and personal spaces being attacked, you know, by somebody who thinks that they're better than anybody else, thinks that they're owed more than anybody else, thinks that they have a right greater than anybody else. And man, woman, child, we can't allow that to happen in a safe space. TV should be provocative and fun and comforting and you know, scary and awesome all at the same time. But you don't want that feeling on set. You don't want to be terrified to go to work. Nobody wants to go wake up the morning and go, my boss is going to be there. And not because like, oh, my boss is there and I don't want to work, but my boss is going to be there and I know he might touch me. Let me pick out an outfit so that my boss doesn't comment on my boobs, or let me, you know, not be too manly in front of him because then he might try to demasculate me in front of people, you know. And it's like, it's just a sick, sad world.
I don't want to end on that, but I wanted to say that, you know, Supergirl, as an audience, we will not allow her to become his. We will make it ours.
Exactly.
We will make the mythos ours, and we'll make it better as a group of people.
He looks like somebody I would want to just like teabag if I had balls. Like I just want to lightly dip.
Okay, Adair, I realize you're angry, but we have to give him hope.
Just a teabag. Just a nice, just boop right on the forehead, right on his big, six-shaped forehead. Just nice teabag. So if anybody,
you can have 2 sets on his forehead. That's right. I have to revert into like the crudeness. I don't know what's the matter with me.
I just thought 2 sets on the forehead. I'm just like, all of a sudden I just gotta visualize, and you know what it is? Because I play too many video games and like Call of Duty and stuff. And anytime like you take an enemy out, you'll just like gently teabag them. And so like that's what I just got the image of. Just like a nice just boop.
I feel like you could fit a couple of pairs of balls on the forehead. It's a really big
That
forehead.
guy
But it's,
has
anyways,
a giant forehead.
Okay, bringing it back to the serious. I get it. I'm mad. You're mad. We're mad.
Oh, fuck that guy.
You can be mad. All right, everyone can be mad. Remember, this is the place to be mad. So leave it in the comments. Tell us how mad you are, but don't leave the burn in the comments.
I want to see
What
that
you wanna
burn.
what you want to say to this fuck.
Yeah.
Just leave it in the comments.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you for listening. Make sure to share this and make sure to start a conversation. Share this with people that, watch anything Warner Brothers, because that's going to affect everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one show.
It's their work culture they gotta change, yeah.
Yeah, it's the work culture. If there's now that we know who's running these things, we see why so many bad habits have occurred on the CW. And as audience, we can change that, So keep an open mind. Thanks for listening for our mass drama sexual predator.
Mass drama! Oh, I just wanted to clarify real quick. This is not a super salty review, because that's a whole other thing in itself.
I mean, we're salty as fuck about this,
moss
but
drama.
it's a lot
When
of
there's drama, we will always cover it as moss.
because it is. It's just more
It
drama.
is. It just is. It's like a lot.
It's just a lot of drama. But yeah, be kind to one another and have a good night, guys. We will see you soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.